Hey guys, look at us. We are back again with yet another Ringgit video. Actually, it's been a while since we did a Ringgit video. Right? So, of course, the latest news is that, Ringgit is down again versus the US dollar, $4.77.
Yeah, we're back to the peak again.
Yes, here we go. So, it was a nice ride down late last year to $4.20.
Yeah.
I remember no one really praising and saying, yay, Malaysian Ringgit. But of course, when it goes up, that's when it goes down, that's when people start talking about it.
Yep.
25-year low. So since the Asian financial crisis, 1997, 1998.
Yes.
We have,
Yeah. And actually, a lot of the down has to do with the dollar is gaining, essentially.
Yeah.
One is because of the Israel and Hamas war, and the other one is because the Fed, also, they are still pretty much very hawkish on their interest
for those who
rate.
don't know, hawkish just means, they want to increase.
They want to increase rates. Yeah, exactly. And then also not to mention, because I think Malaysia's the external trade stats also, our export is actually like in a decline so far right now. I believe also most of the countries also they're on the decline. And well, this is also partly because of this slowdown in China. We have a lot of optimistic view when China starts to open up their borders.
That's right.
Expedition
really
in reality. Yeah. So
yeah, and I think where we want to angle this video today has to do with what if we actually increase the Malaysian Ringgit to 3 to 2 versus the US dollars.
Yeah. So,
and to add to that, part of the reason why we have been depreciating, probably the biggest actually, is the fact that the US dollar is strengthening, caused by the increase in interest rate, and also caused by Bank Negara not increasing interest rates in tandem.
Exactly.
Right? It used to be 2018, 2019, 2020. The Bank Negara set the ringgit, or rather the interest rates, at around 2-point-something%. And the US dollar was 0.25%. Suddenly overnight, it went up a lot.
Yeah. Like
and Malaysia has not
two
kept
times,
up.
3 times. Yeah, correct.
Right? Singapore has kept up. That's why they've appreciated against us as well. So there you can see here.
Yeah, so this is the Asians benchmark. You can see how, we are the second lowest in terms of the interest rate. So you can see Malaysia is about 3%.
Only Thailand is...
Yeah, Thailand, you can see Indonesia is like 5.7%.
Yeah.
Thailand is 2.5%. Philippines is 6.25%. So all of these countries' interest rate is pretty relatively higher as compared to Malaysia. So which means that we are still doing quite decently in terms of interest rate. Do you want to pay more interest in terms of borrowing? So that's a question you need to know. And this is just an inflation rate. And right now we have been capping at very well. This is just a 2022's data. It's not really 2023, but it's essentially just at around 2%. Right now, I believe we are at 2%. And what Anwar also did mention about this, what if we cease subsidies, right? It is that our inflation will straight away shoot up to 10%.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and if it shoot up to 10%, which means we need to curb the inflation rate, right? So which means we have to increase interest rate.
Yes, but however, nothing is free in this world. So we will experience a different kind of pain. We will feel a pain on potentially taxes.
Yes.
Because somebody has to pay for it. And
that's why you guys are complaining, right?
Yeah. So our deficit might increase. But the real solution, as with a lot of other countries, is to grow out of it. We need to have pro-growth policies, because pro-growth policies means that we can cover a multitude of these sins, right? Right now, we are going to expect potentially subsidies to even increase, right? Even with targeted subsidies because of inflation. However, if we grow GDP high, then the whatever the government takes in tax revenue will be able to cover it. Now, in contrast to a country like Singapore, they don't have this level of subsidies.
Yeah.
So what they do is they defend their currency. So instead of spending a few billion ringgit or whatever billions that they have defending their inflation rate, they let it run, but they use Sing dollars to defend, or they use their reserves to defend their Sing dollars, which costs north of 20 over billion Sing dollars. You guys can go and Google this.
Yes, exactly. But this is just a context for you guys to know what if. Okay, so assuming if let's say you want to die, you don't want 1 ringgit equals 4 ringgit 77 cents. You want it to become 3 ringgit or lesser, right? This is what will happen. Let's say the interest rate right now increase up to 6%, which means your loan installment will be higher or everything, property, personal loan. Maybe? Yeah, double or something. Actually, I did a rough calculation. Maybe it's around like 40%, 40-50%. Sure. But it's still quite a lot. Your fixed D will be much better, obviously, but it will be better than EPF. So I don't know how EPF is gonna like compete with fixed deposit at this point of time. And then another thing is that our stocks will be less attractive. So which means a lot of people will pull out from stocks and Malaysia's stocks.
Well, in theory, they should.
Yeah, correct. In theory, they should. Because of opportunity cost. Yeah. One is better return, the stocks not so good. Yeah, so that is what
and 40%, 50%, you know what it really means is if you are paying rent at 1,005 typically, now you have to pay closer to 2,002, 2,003. Right, that's very painful.
Yes, exactly. So imagine that. We need to imagine because we have another country who is actually experiencing this pain, and that is the US. So this is what is happening to the US is that their average interest rate right now, it is about 8%. Fixed 8%. Mortgage 8%.
Crazy.
Our mortgage is about 3.5%. So it's like 2.5 times from what they are paying. And what's worse is that right now nobody can actually buy property at specifically in Florida right now, and also nobody wants to sell. Basically the market is in a tone right now, and not only that is if we look at another side of things, this is basically the rough payment that they actually calculated. If you compare between before COVID and after COVID period, right, your payment on 500,000. From 2,000 ringgit per month only is now 3,006.
That's an 80% increase.
Yeah. And it's not even including tax and insurance.
And you know what? This is also true for Singapore.
Yeah.
We have not checked Thailand, Indonesia, all that. But for Singapore, rent is going crazy. Why? Because, probably mortgages have gone up. So they have to cover, right? Landowners, basic.
Yep. Exactly. So this is the madness that they have to face. Basically, right now we say that our property price is very unaffordable, right? People cannot buy. In the US, it's largely unaffordable. Yeah. It's even worse.
So, which do you want, right? Do you want your travel abroad, except Japan? Do you want your travel abroad to be cheaper? Or do you want your housing to be cheaper? Now, to be fair, we do feel pain in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
For example, our imports become more expensive. So, we would have to pay for what we used to pay for maybe a imported sausage for 5 ringgit. Maybe now it's 6, 7 ringgit. But is that pain going to be more painful than an 80% increase in your mortgage?
Yeah.
Potentially your rent? I mean, you decide which things you want. And I think one of the key lessons here is that there's no policy that is perfect.
Yeah.
If you are on the flip side and if you want a strong currency, you're going to have to face housing and cars as well. But if you want to have a weaker currency, then maybe with food, with maybe electronic gadgets, iPhone 15, you have to pay a bit more. Which pain do you want, right? So, of course, in Malaysia's case, that's why they are going into food security to make their own food, which will have its own complication. But there's no solution that will make you happy in all departments of your life. You have to pick.
Yes, exactly. So that's the situation. And I'm just going to paint out between the pros and cons of a high interest rate. So definitely high interest rate, one thing you can control inflation, assuming your country is overheating. That can tone down a little bit. Your cash will be more valuable. That's why we are seeing the USD is getting more and more strengthening and more valuable. And obviously it attracts savings for you to not spend a lot of money. They encourage you to save more inside your...
Okay, so here's the thing. So you're absolutely right that high interest rates is good for controlling inflation. Now here's the beauty of Malaysia, I see. We do not have high interest rates, but we are controlling inflation. Right? But of course, taxes are, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
The cons is, of course, when you borrow, it's going to be more expensive. People are, in theory, going to spend less. And houses are going to be expensive, in probably cars as well.
Yes, exactly.
Credit card loans, maybe. So that's going to be tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. And mind you, housing takes up, 40-50% of people's spending.
Yes, exactly.
So if you complain about food is what? 30%? How much you spend on food a month? 30% or less?
Yep.
You choose.
Yeah, so basically this is just which do you prefer? Do you prefer like our ringgit right now depreciating? It sounds bad, but then we're still living pretty decent, right? I mean, right now we're still surviving and everything. Property also, we have zero money down, but if you want to buy in other countries, right, you have to put like 30% down. So that's pretty a lot. So
for us, just 10%.
Yeah.
And then if you know how to do it, like you said, you can really get it for a very low amount of capital.
Correct. I mean, Malaysia is still a beautiful place to live in now.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's our opinion. But if you totally disagree, let us know in the comments. Always interested to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Now, regardless of whether the ringgit is up or down, whatever, one thing's for sure, you need to get investments right? And some of you all really want to do research, but maybe don't have the time. You don't have the time, or it's too taxing for you mentally. You got kids, you got day jobs. Check out our FIRL Pro program, right? It's designed for people like you. Every month, at least 2 reports on companies. Each report is no more than 15 minutes long, really easy to read. And so far, this is our performance. You can get a sense of what it looks like. We have a free sample here that you can check out in the comments and the description. And if you sign up for the program, after 10 days or within 10 days, you feel not the program for me, I don't like it for whatever reason, send us an email, full refund without any questions. And guys, thanks so much for staying all the way until the end. Hope you are spending your ringgits well, regardless of whether it's going up or down. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.